After the Civil War, most of the South was destroyed. It was also many years behind the North in exports and infrastructure. After Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, Reconstruction was pushed by the South. 3 amendments were added to aid the Reconstruction. The states were reintegrated into the Union in the late 1860s. In the Homestead Act, people were encouraged to move west. This promoted lots of national infrastructure like the Transcontinental Railroad. In the later half of the 1800s, millions of refugees came to America. Most Europeans came through Ellis Island, while people from Asia came through San Francisco. During the Great Migration, many former slaves from the South moved north. The Compromise of 1877 is considered the end of the Reconstruction and caused a decline in soldiers stationed in the South. After soldiers retreated from the South, white supremacists quickly took control of Southern politics with a rise in racism. The 15th and 14th Amendments, which gave African Americans rights, were weakened in the South. At the same time, technological advancement caused the United States economy to rise above other nations like Britain and Germany. Monopolies quickly formed to control industries like petroleum and steel. The states also rose ahead in the automobile industry. This rapid industrialization caused labor unions and safety measures to increase. Just before the turn of the century, America gained lots of land. With a coup in Hawaii and with the acquisition of the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico. After the Spanish-American War. The Spanish-American War was a conflict caused by Cuba's War of Independence. The Spanish brutality cracked down on this and stirred the American public. In 1898, after the USS Maine, along with several other ships, were destroyed by Spain. In May of 1898, an American fleet attacked Manila Bay and defeated the force there. By June, Philippine revolutionaries controlled the islands. And in August of 1898, joint Philippine and American forces took Manila. Meanwhile, in Cuba, 2 ships were sent in May to isolate the island by cutting cables. They succeeded. In June, the first forces landed in Cuba through Guantanamo Bay. In June, Santiago was attacked. Throughout the war, the U.S. Navy continued to bombard coastal defenses. The war ended August when both fleets had been destroyed and both islands had been isolated. The United States got Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. Cuba was given independence. It had been years since the last major European conflict, which had been the Napoleonic Wars on 1799 to 1815. In the centuries since, many technologies like TNT and planes had been invented, so the world was itching for war. So, when the Austro-Hungarian king was killed, the world exploded. Most of Europe, the US, Russia, China, and Japan, dragged into war. Germany sent soldiers through Belgium too. France in August 1914. The British quickly sent soldiers to protect Belgium. While in Belgium, the Germans commit atrocities, killing many. Meanwhile, on the East Front, Austria-Hungary continues to lose against Russia and Serbia. The Germans pushed against both Russia and France, drawing close to Paris. In September 1914, the French meet the Germans at Marne. Germans are forced to retreat and create trenches from Belgium to Switzerland. Trench warfare is the major strategy in the West throughout the war. Diseases and infections killed many. In 1915, Japan took most of Germany's Pacific colonies. Italy also entered the war with the Brits and the Ottoman Empire with the other side, Central Powers. Chemical warfare, which had been outlawed, was also used in the trenches. Bulgaria helped the Austro-Hungarians in Serbia and Montenegro. In spring of 1916, Germany attacked the French city of Verdun, which lasted from February to December. In July, the British attacked at Somme. This battle was the deadliest in British military history, with 60,000 dead in the first day. In the coming months, Romania and Greece entered the war. At Somme, the first tanks were used. These were terrifying and very effective. In November of 1916, British forces landed in Mesopotamia while Russia pushed through the Caucasus region. In 1917, however, Russia fell into civil war. Germany and the Ottomans rushed to grab Russia's land in East Europe and the Caucasus. Finally, America enters the war. They had been aiding the Allied powers, Britain, France, Russia, and several other powers, and had had their ships sunk by Germans. So when Germany attempted to recruit Mexico into the war, America declared war. Germany tried a desperate attack, but failed when new American troops arrived. They started to push. At this point, Italy and Greece were attacking. Austria-Hungary's south, Bulgaria was invaded by, and Greece, the Ottoman Empire, was losing Mesopotamia, and Germany was getting pushed backwards by France, Britain, and America. They surrendered by mid-1917. In 1920, in America, women's suffrage rights finally succeeded. Women were allowed to vote, nearly 25 years after the first country, New Zealand. With America entering the war late, along with lots of immigrants and the Gilded Age, America was a dominant economy and even military. This was also the age when electricity became widespread in America, with 65% of households having it by 1927. Factories also changed, with electricity and the assembly line, speeding up production. Throughout the decade, gross domestic product, GDP, increased and unemployment stayed relatively low. This changing world caused changes in consumer culture, with many new inventions like the vacuum cleaner and radios. Advertisement had a revolution, with more sophisticated marketing becoming popular. Movie theaters also became popular, with nearly 80 million coming weekly. This period was also called the Jazz Age. Jazz was popularized by African American artists in Chicago and New York. This period was also called the Harlem Renaissance. This period was also the start of Prohibition, where alcohol was banned in the United States. The Great Depression was a period of economic downturn in Western civilization. It was the greatest in modern history. In America, nearly 1/4 of the workforce was unemployed. In other countries like Germany with 30% and England with 23%. The crash was caused in October of 1929. It was caused by a combination of tariffs, a failure in the gold standard, the Dust Bowl, which caused an agricultural disaster, a decrease in purchasing power, and many other couple factors. The Great Depression was worsened in America by the policies of President Herbert Hoover. During this time, many lived in shanty towns, called Hoovervilles. The worst years in America was in 1933. America started to recover in the mid-1930s, with a temporary recession from 1937 to 38.